Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there? All right. Woo. Good morning, it's still morning most places, at least in the United States, right? So, good morning, everyone. It is not normal for me to be doing a live stream at this particular hour. That is something that is very new, and I want to definitely explain all of that. We are live in a number of different locations right now, so that we can, again, make this announcement. We'll probably be live in a number of locations for a little while. Keep making the announcement to give people time to adjust to some of the changes that we are here to announce and to do today. And I definitely want to make sure that, those of you who are here, you who are participating along with us, you have a way to make that happen. All right. So in the title, it says, when is the last time you tried something new? That type of thing. Or how we come out stronger the longer suffering lasts. Any kind of suffering, but suffering in general lasts. How do we as humans do that? That is the intent for today. But before I go down that, what I want to do is that I want to share with you the genesis of this whole thing for those of you watching in various places. Let me first just say hi. My name is Jay. For those of you who have not met, CEO of CashFlowDiary, what we do is very simple. We help individuals become entrepreneurs. We tend to focus in the real estate space, most specifically short-term rentals. Okay. And there's a lot of things that my wife and I have had the privilege of accomplishing, which is great and wonderful and all of that stuff. But that doesn't matter as much as what matters to us today is helping more people make their own transitions and become a bigger, better version of themselves as well. So one of the things that is come to my mind, or at least that I've been thinking about, and I've thought about this for a while, is doing something similar to this, going live, but doing so in a very consistent fashion. What I mean by that in this case is I wonder what would happen, if we managed to go live every day. If we ever did that just for 30 days straight, like what would happen? And making that kind of a promise to an audience, especially given what we do and all those types of things, is it's been scary. It's been something I've been afraid to do because I just there's no way I'm going to make that happen. And we did not get this far by succumbing to fear, if that makes sense. And again, there are people who are way further along. But anything that we have accomplished it didn't happen because we were afraid. It didn't happen because we allowed fear to be our master. And it just came to my mind that, you know what, I am still afraid of this. I'm still afraid of attempting and telling people, hey, I'm going to go live for 30 consecutive days at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And and see what happens. I mean, it's an experiment. May go longer, may not. I don't know. But that is what we're going to do, to see that. The reason I wanted to do that, or this, is yes, partially because to prove to myself that, hey, I can still keep conquering those things. But most importantly, there's a lot of information that is in my head that we have learned that we wanted to be able to share, and we had to have a forum in which to do it. So, we could stay in the paralysis and analysis side for quite some time, but I don't think we need to. What we need to do is to get it out of the head and in to your hearts. That's the goal. Because we started our whole business journey, if you will, back in 2008. Well, it started obviously before then, but the major stuff happened in 2007, 2008. And at that time, we were, credit score was like 398, squatting in bank-owned property. We had one kid on the way, and we already had one child here. And my wife, when she's pregnant, she has a condition known as hyperemesis. Really short, it means she could not eat or drink. Wow, that's kind of tough. And I was having trouble breathing, walking, and talking simultaneously because I had a punctured lung and I was born with asthma. That was the situation. We were selling our personal possessions on eBay, and this was, what was going on. And I ran across a number of resources, people from church, the Bible, obviously, as well as mentors that made a difference, that taught me a number of things to when it felt like my world, our world, was falling apart around us. That was literally the catalyst. That was literally the environment that created our ability to go and build something that gives us the opportunity to impact other people. And we've had that privilege, of impacting other people. But it started with understanding what it would take to become a new person, literally become a new person, literally learn new habits and skills and trainings and all of these things. And we're talking beyond the 10,000 hours worth of audiobooks and podcasts and live events and retreats and whatever else you want to name it in order to make it happen. Way more than the 10,000 hours. And obviously I don't have 10,000 hours that you and I are going to be spending together, but I can give and relay the things that I think, believe, know, have proven, have seen our students prove, that make a difference, that will make a difference. Specifically when it feels like the world is closing in all around you, an opportunity seems, it just doesn't seem apparent. It doesn't seem like it's something that you could have available to you. How do you maintain your mental mindset, right? Because that's really where a lot of this begins, right there, is your maintaining of that mindset. That's what it was for me, because I was beginning to build a business. In the process, while building that business, I'd come back home, I'd go outside, and the best I could do, hear me clearly when I say this, I didn't have what we have today. I had flyers. I could cut out some flyers, okay, and put them on cars. And that's pretty much where it started. Canary yellow paper, black was the marker, okay, one with an 800 number. You come up with a quick, pithy little saying and put it out there. And honestly, I hoped it was a weird situation, because when people would call, I hoped it would go to voicemail because I was too afraid to talk to them. But the situation that we were in necessitated I learn new skills and become someone different, or we won't eat. Period. We won't eat. There was no Calvary. There was no bailout for us. That the automakers got the bailout. Everybody, there was no bailout for us. It wasn't coming. And from that position that's just how everything started. And it built, and we were able to build ourselves in a way that allowed us to then build a business. So hear the progress there. We were able to be built by others by listening and learning and understanding, so that we could then be enabled to build a business. And understanding it in that order makes all the difference, because I can't just wake up and magically pop a business if I've never done that skill before. And I think that has a lot to do with why I get so excited about helping those who have never had a business and are switching into the world of business, or their own business for the first time, or growing their business or improving it in some way, shape, or form. I think that's what gets me excited about it, is having made that transition and helped tens of thousands of others do the same. I think that's what gets me excited about it. It's also part of, like I said, where this idea comes from, because when going through those times of transformation, not just transition, but transformation, what you do, what you're open to doing, the new version of you that's on the other side of that transformation is excited to meet you, but most importantly, usually requires different skills, different habits, almost everything in order to make it work. So that's kind of my intent. Now, many of you may know that we do short-term rentals and all of those types of things. While yes, there may be some things that come out from time to time around short-term rentals, it's not the major focus of right now, or at least these daily streams, right? This is for building the person that can build the business. Now, there will be lots of examples probably from real estate and whatnot. I'm not saying you won't learn something real estate related in some way, shape, or form. But what I know is the tactical of what to do for a short-term rental business, that's one thing. And that's just there. But keeping you consistent in doing it, keeping you focused on the right things so that you can be enabled to show up for your team and be there as the world darkens around you, that's a completely different skill set and something you must be willing to take care of in a different way. We entrepreneurs, we have to be willing to take care of ourselves in a completely different way. So I say all of that in preface to say the following. We're not perfect yet, not even close to perfect. Not every deal has gone well. And these streams aren't going to be perfect. Part of what we're doing, part of going through this process in such a collapsed amount of time and doing these streams is to get better, to make improvement upon how we, the production value, how the streams work, the graph, the everything. So hopefully, like if you're watching this a year from now, you can see, hey, this is day one. And then by the time you get to the end, it looks a little different, sounds a little improved in various different ways. So understanding that is going to, it makes all the difference. So now what's interesting is at this particular moment, we are, let me see, what do we got? I'm going to see, boom. Yes, we are. So let me show you let me take care of some housekeeping things that I think would be helpful for you guys just to understand. We are currently live in, let me see, so we're on Facebook, obviously. No, that one's not live, is it? I don't think that one's live. Hold on. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are currently live on 5 of the 7 places we normally can go live simultaneously. In order to, one of the first things I was like, oh, if I'm going to do this, there's no way I can go live in 7 places for 30 days straight, because it is very challenging for all to catch all of the comments. That's the thing. I want to participate with you. I know you may have questions about whatever, and I want to be able to participate with you guys fully. So one of the things that we're doing is we're consolidating all of our public streams down to 2 locations, just 2, period. So from 7 to 2. I'm pretty excited about that, because it is challenging to get, like I said, in front of all of the comments. So what should be, there we go. What's on the screen right there is our new Facebook location. We have started a new Facebook page. This is the Facebook page that I'm telling you now. All of our public streams are going to be centered on this page right there. That page right there. That is it is a brand new page. If you have never been to that link, let me put it back up there for you one more time. One more time. How do I do? Did I break it? There it goes. So if you've never been to that link, this is the time to go. Okay? We're going to be there, and then we're going to be at the YouTube channel. So many of you are at our existing YouTube channel. So that way, because I don't know if you guys have noticed. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been a lot of challenges with the internet recently because of the amount of people going online and bandwidth and. So when going to multiple locations and doing all of this, it's been a challenge. So one of the things that we're doing is we're moving we're moving it to 2 locations. The YouTube channel, okay, YouTube. Let me see, I might have a thing for that one too. See, this is part of what I mean by getting better. Yep, there's one. So we'll either be on YouTube. Okay. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Why did that not show up? Oh, there it goes. So we'll either be on YouTube, or if we're not there, we'll be on the Facebook page, right? Right there. Okay, so if you haven't already, by all means, please go either like that Facebook page or go to that YouTube channel. Why does that keep disappearing so quickly? I can't wait to see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. One of the many lessons is you cannot learn and look good at the same time. But we will get this all figured out, and that's part of the fun, I guess, if you will, as we continue to go and grow. Let me look at my notes. I have a couple of more things of housekeeping, and then we'll get into the content that I wanted to make sure. So we talked about that. We did that. So let me make sure. Let me ask the team, is it working? Is it working? So we have is working. Perfect. So what we are one of the things that we realized, or at least my team was realizing, is that as we go live, there will be some times where we have worksheets and handouts and things. So we are creating a library of all of this content so that you'll be able to always do the worksheets, to always manage your mindset, to always begin to put yourself in a place so that you could manage your mental state in order to achieve the goals that are necessary, even when, and especially when, it feels like your world is falling apart all around you. So what I am waiting on is confirmation at the moment. And was that Cynthia says, I love the principle of yet. Yes, exactly. I agree with you, Cynthia, for all the reasons that you already know, because when you're learning to do something new, it is, yet is important, because we can want to be perfect from the beginning, and that's none of us. Like, literally, None of us, okay, whatsoever. Okay, so, okay, she says it's not working. All right, please let me know when it does. All right, so what I do want to do, though, is go over so I made that announcement. Oh, got it. And for those of you who did want, like I said before, these daily streams at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, we're going to, this is, I guess, the best way that I can think of right now to support those who may be building a business or wanting to build a business or stream of income, whatever you want to think about it. When it comes down to it, if that's you, if your stream of income has been interrupted or your life has been turned upside down and it's something different to focus on, that'll teach you how to keep your focus on the things that you want to keep your focus on, as opposed to focusing and easily being swept up by, well, everything else that's going on in front of you and that particular distraction. So definitely we will be sharing those types of things. So with that, that at the end of the day, that's one of the things I want to make sure that people know. For those of you who are like, oh, come on, where is the short-term rental content? I want that stuff. Okay, cool, no problem. It's not like we've stopped that. That's what we do, right? But that's a completely different space, a completely different time. We happen to be in the middle of one of our educational sequences right now. So you could go over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. cashflowdiary.com/learn live. If that's something that you are interested in and want to find out more about at the more appropriate time, if you will. So I have no problem then, because that's when we're going to be talking mostly about all of the short-term rental stuff. All right. Now, with that, for today, one of the things, and again, the format of these will probably evolve over time because I'm going to be interacting with your questions, as well as my intent is to come each day with some piece of content that is prepared. It may not take up the entire time that we're there, but you'll have some content, something to learn, something to practice in some way, shape, or form. But most importantly, consistency. Because you may have heard it said, I've heard it said, that 1% improvement per day over 100 days is 100% improvement. But yet, if you're anything like me, you want to do the 100% improvement per day. Because that's just where I live, in the desire of the right now is when I want it. As you, or as we all continue to focus on new goals, new versions, understanding what the quote unquote new normal looks like for each of us. One of the things that is, I would say, necessary, paramount, is going to simply be the need to develop new skills or habits. Let me explain by showing you. Actually, that was also the wrong camera. Let's try this one. There we go. So, and there we go. So here's where I'm coming from. When it, right there, becoming, yep. This is something that I like to call the path of the path of becoming. Because all of us are, in my opinion, on that path, especially right now. We're on that path. We're in the process of becoming something new. And either voluntarily or involuntarily, it's what's happening, right? To each and every one of us. Normally it can be a voluntary process in order to make it happen. And one of the things that I would strongly encourage is that we choose to exercise agency and make it that way. But sometimes when we don't know how long something is going to last, it can be very, very challenging to deal with, because when is the pain gonna stop? That type of situation. And one of the things that I've learned that helps, or at least helps me, is to recognize that I am on this particular path. Oh, I see a question. What is this? Is that Anthony? Sorry to bother. You're not bothering me, Anthony. That's why I'm live. I just got promoted to CEO for a maintenance construction company. I was wondering if you could help me out. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that's amazing. First of all, was that, I don't know if that says Anthony, so that you guys, let me show you. It says Anthony / Nicole. So again, Anthony / Nicole. Congratulations. Awesome. And when you say you don't know what you're doing, I totally understand. Most people don't know what they're doing right now. That is what is that? That is not abnormal to not know what you're doing, especially after a promotion. Anthony, if you want to be a little bit more specific when you say you don't know what you're doing, if you can help by defining some of the objectives and or projects that it is that you are trying to accomplish right now, that would help me help you, if that makes sense. So, but feel free to just type it and we'll be able to do it that way. I just realized the table is too low. All right, there we go. All right, so you're on the path to becoming. At the end of this path is typically something that I think most individuals want in some way, shape, or form. We want to be that person of significance. That person of significance. That's what we hope for, is to be a person of significance, or maybe you say impact. Occasionally I'll say that agent of change, if you will, because agent of change, because that's what happens or can happen with human to human interaction. I've heard it said that you will be the same you'll be the same tomorrow as you are today, except for two things: the books you read and the people you meet. And in this particular environment, it's a great way for us to meet. So let's connect and let's make that happen. But on this path, there are a number of very clear steps that when we are conscious of them, it can help us make this transformation process, well, a little less painful, and because we at least understand what's happening to us, as opposed to just wondering what on earth is going on. Here's what I mean. One of the most important things to understand is that when in this process of becoming, you have to effectively use your resources in order to make that happen, to become something different. So the second resource, and yes, I'm aware I'm starting on number 2, the second resource is time, right? And oftentimes, if this was any other day, before all of, everyone's life and world and perspective has been altered. If this was any other day, oftentimes when it says, hey, it's time to become a bigger, better version of yourself. If, hey, here's an opportunity for you, or hey, here's this, we often say, I don't have time. Well, interestingly, as many of you are aware, we all have the 24 hours per day. That tends to happen for all of us. That seems to be consistent. And it's not that we don't have time. We have challenges prioritizing our time accordingly, right? But we can get to that another day. But that time is one of the resources. So the question becomes then, if I am not using time in an effective manner, what could I be doing? Well, what you like to do is to take your time and invest it in gaining new talents or skills, whichever words you prefer. So you take your time and invest it into new talents, because inside those new talents, improving you is where you begin to make some progress and can create more value for the world, if you will. So hopefully that makes lots of sense. So, and from that time, talent, what's going to happen is you're going to, as you go to gain new talents, like you and I, like we're doing right here even, what happens is that you get in front of, usually, new relationships, right? What I mean by that is when you go to learn a skill, say you wanted to learn to cook. Well, guess what? Learning to cook, you're probably going to learn from a person, or in person. There are probably other people who are also learning to cook. You're going to be in front of those additional individuals who are also learning to cook right along with you. So we've got your time, your talent, into relationships, which then from those relationships, as you continue to show up. So, like I told you, we're going to be doing this every day. That sounds, every time I say it, it sounds scary. Every day. My wife's over here laughing at me because she knows. She's just like, okay. She's not. 5 or 6 every day. So every day for 30 days, right? So as you gain these new relationships, as we gain momentum, as we continue to work together, as I continue to share what's in here, there, and as you ask your questions and we interact, what's going to happen is that the group of us, we're going to gain what you could say is credit or credibility with each other, which is a good thing, which also is the true credit in the world. Not hear me clearly, this has nothing to do with a FICO score. Okay, has literally nothing to do with the FICO score. So from that, credit or credibility, then and only then, this is the process that happens, are you able, in order to get to the state of cash, being able to do some sort of way of producing cash with your business or providing value. There's an exchange that happens here at that stage that doesn't happen anywhere else. For example, the last time you consumed a bottle of water, many of you didn't examine the ingredients before you consumed it. You looked at the label, and because that label had credit or credibility with you, not only did you exchange dollars for it, but you drank it without concern. Now, I'm not trying to make you nervous about water. I'm just trying to prove credit or credibility. That's how it works. And then once you have the ability to produce value in the marketplace from cash, then you get to learn how to take these piles of cash and turn them into streams of cash, right? Which is where my company, CashFlowDiary, that's what we do, is we help people go through this particular process where you learn to take your time, invest it, gain new talents and skills, build new relationships, gain credibility, learn to then form a business so that you can produce cash, then ultimately cash flow. And then that's when the reason we become a person of significance here is because now we get to do the things we actually want to do. Want becomes a bigger, more important word. We get to do the things that we actually want to do with our time, maybe whatever that might be. You get to devote time to an art without having to be concerned about compensation. That could be one thing. That could be a very, very important thing. But this process of becoming is what all of us go through, have gone through, will continue to go through. Anytime you've accomplished something that where you experienced the change, it was some form of this. And all of us we're on this same path in many different areas. Like right now, for me, we're on the path to becoming better at the whole live streaming thing, right? What does that mean? It's not about cameras and tech. It's about taking the time to gain the new talent and skill. You say, what's the new talent or skill? Remember what I keep saying. I keep saying showing up every day at 8 a.m. That's the skill. That's the practice right there. And over time, that relationship gets built, in this case with you. We gain credibility, eventually cash flow. You see the process? It's there. My point is, this is the same for you. If you're starting a business today, like literally today, it's still the process for you. So it's not anything different. And because we always want to go straight from the beginning straight to cash. I need money today, Jay. Totally understood. And that's not how it works. But there is nothing that says you have to spend a whole bunch of time inside of the steps 2 through 5. There's nothing that says you have to spend a whole bunch of time inside steps 2 through 5, but you will go through steps 2 through 5. And what's interesting is that sometimes where you've gone through steps, say 2 through 5, isn't necessarily where you then produce cash, because there are many different business models out there to where you can borrow someone else's credibility and product, for example, and then you become their affiliate or you represent that product. There are many ways to make this happen. My point is very simple. This path always happens, right? This path always happens. Ultimately, though, what you and I want to do is we want to make sure that we own or control the means of production. We want to control the way that we can create value in the marketplace. And you're like, okay, Jay, I knew all this. What does this have to do with what's going on now and what I'm currently experiencing? No problem. I'm almost there. The one thing you and I have to bring to the table, this is the one thing you must have, is a desire. And right now, maybe your desire was just given to you. You were motivated. As I said, back in 07, 08, my desire was simple. It was, I want to eat. To make sure that I eat, then I'm going to go do these things that, yes, are very uncomfortable for me right now. And but I'm going to learn to do them. And I'm on this path and I can get there because I'm on the path. I'm not good yet. In fact, write this down, or in fact, somebody type this in the chat for me. Every master was once a disaster. Because that's true. Every master was once a disaster. And there is no one who's currently a master who was born that way, great at it from the beginning. You learned it over time, period. Congratulations. So, yeah, you don't know how to do that yet. You're not good at it yet. You will become good at it over time, but with consistent practice, not random practice, consistent, intentional, focused practice at the particular skill, so that who knows what happens on the other end. I have no idea what happens on the other end. What I know is I identified something that I said I was afraid of, and I'm not satisfied living in fear. Therefore, let's go do it. And here we are. And that process has led to a number of things that has allowed us to build the businesses and income and things, right? Now, with that as the foundation, here's the simple thing that I'm asking you to practice, if you will. What I'm asking you to practice is just one new habit. Or maybe not new, but maybe it's renewing a particular habit. Just one new habit. One of the things that I learned through 07, 08 and building businesses in general is my ability to stack habits ultimately comes out on the other end as the result that I want. Now, I have to be willing to start small. Oftentimes, if you're anything like me, you want to start with 12 habits. You want to start with the big ones. You want to do them all right now and knock them out of the park. And that's just not how it works. That's not how it's worked for me. I had to start with very, very small habits. I had to, quote unquote, make success and that feeling of success easy. Here's what I mean. I told you where we were at the beginning. At the beginning, it was very simple. We are squatting in bank-owned property, selling stuff on eBay, hoping for something to sell so that we could eat. If I did not sell something, we did not eat. I just want to be really clear about that. What does that mean, though? I had to build new habits around the definition of what success meant. At the beginning, as I'm trying to learn about real estate and get into real estate, because again, you gotta understand, it's a crazy time. A friend comes to me and says, you should become a real estate investor. I'm like, dude, I got a credit score of 398. Anyway, during that process, I had to redefine what success meant. Because if you let the world or someone else define your success and what that definition looks like, you could end up a failure for a long time. And that's what's not here. You are not a failure. You may have had a failure event. You may be experiencing something that is not working the way that you want. You haven't figured it out yet, but you are not a failure. And from there, what I learned to do was to make success easy. So what does that mean? Practice very simple habit. You know what? You could start with something as simple as brushing your teeth. Did I brush my teeth today? Simple habit. And depending on where you are emotionally, that might actually be your goal right now. And that's okay. Can I just, did I brush my teeth today? And you just string a number of days of that together right now. That could be good. There's nothing wrong with that. Because that's, where I started. Did I get out of bed? When I set the alarm, did I get out of bed? So there's another one tiny little habit. We think it doesn't matter, but it does. Let me explain. You set the alarm for 5:30, 5:15, 4:30, whatever time you decide to get up, a.m. And your first move of the day is to hit the snooze button. The problem with that is you just lied to yourself and you haven't even gotten out of bed. But we have to practice small habits in order to take control of our mindset, in order to put ourselves in a position in which we can feel like we have some armor, if you will, and can fight the day. Because the day is going to be the day. What we get to choose to do is how to respond to the wind that is coming. The wind is coming. There's never going to be a day where the wind isn't coming. In fact, the wind is likely to get worse long before it gets better. So learning how to set your sail intentionally gives you the strength to put yourself in a position in which instead of having the wind blow you everywhere, you can at least, you might be off course for a little minute, but that's okay. You know how to get back on, giving yourself that ability to control and direct so that you can still get to the destination. Remember, it's cash flow that we need. We need a way to generate income without having to physically go to work. That's what my brain got alerted to when my wife was sick, when I couldn't walk and talk, when we were struggling. That was the only thing that mattered, is could we generate income without going to work? Could we build an asset? Could we learn to then get that asset into the marketplace and derive income from it? That's why I showed you the path, because that is the path of how that happens, right? So now your time goes into learning to build an asset. See, writing a book, that's hard, and that's just the beginning. Because once it's written, it's still got to get sold. People still have to go, and you got to promote it all the time. There's more work to be done. Just building the asset is not the end goal, but it is the beginning. And oftentimes, we say to ourselves, I don't have time to do that. Well, that's probably not so true anymore. You probably do have the time to do it, right? And now that you have the time to do it, take advantage of it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean it's suddenly easy just because you now have the time, because the world is still moving, the world is still happening, and you can feel like the world is happening to you, closing in upon you, crushing you. And you need a way to tell the world to back off, to tell the world that no, you know what, that did happen today, but I still moved forward because that's what it was like for me. That's what it's probably like for a lot of people, actually. You've got to set those things in motion. You get to choose where will you allow yourself to feel successful? What does it take? It could be as simple as, I brushed my teeth, I got out of bed, I made it to the office, I sat at my desk, I accomplished X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is, the one thing you don't want it to be is, hey, I made $20,000 today, this week, or whatever. Because every time you don't do those things that day, this week, etc., you're not successful. And you don't feel good. And it starts the exact opposite cycle, which makes it easier to hit the snooze button and get out of bed a little bit later, to not show up. And there's something great inside of you. I don't know what it is, but I do know that it is. And it's inside you. And if you're anything like me, you needed your back against the wall in order to allow the greatness that is inside to come out. It took all of that for me to be willing to risk and go, because I didn't want to do that. Why would I? I had was a financial planner. My wife was doing her thing. There was no need. And until there was a need and I could find no other way, then it was like, okay, I guess I better go this direction and start trying to do business. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't want it. I was too afraid. And being afraid is an emotion that's very valid. However, oftentimes we interpret that as meaning stop. And now it's time to interpret that emotion a little bit differently. It means go. Just think about it. What if you decided, every time I feel afraid, it means go? Because the often action can remove that fear that we have. So, as I said, my intent is to go live. There will be I see some questions, so I'm gonna go get those as best I can here in a moment. But my intent is to be live. It's to be here for you, okay, over these next 30 days. Which sounds scary to me. Which sounds scary to me. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it together. So I need you to be here, so that just as much as I need to develop and become more and make sure that I have left nothing on the table. Man, there will be nothing. It's gonna be all on the field. That much I know. And for those who may have come late, just so that you know, if your preferred platform is Facebook, then you're going to want to make sure that you're at the Facebook page. Again, we started a brand new Facebook page for this. Brand new Facebook page. This Facebook page, I believe it's facebook.com/CashFlowDiary live. Facebook.com CashFlowDiary live. All right. Or the YouTube channel. Yeah, because we're going to be in those two places, because you've seen, or at least we've experienced, the challenges that the entire world trying to use the internet and do live streaming all of a sudden has made for places like Facebook. So we're going to be in those two places. We used to be in 7, now we're going to be in 2, because and we want to be able to participate with the comments, right? Because I know that even right now, some of your comments aren't coming through. And it's discouraging to me, and I know it's discouraging to you. You're like, does he see my comment? And most of the time the answer is no, I don't. It's not that I'm ignoring it, I just don't see it. And we want to be able to see it. So, yeah. And then, there will be, obviously, I want to interact. I want your questions, comments, thoughts, so that we can help each other go through this particular path, the path of becoming, right? We're all taking our time, building our talents and skills, relationships, gaining credit, credibility, cash flow, on our way to significance in various different forms. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to look at some of the questions that came in and see if we can't get those answered. Now, understand that this is one of those situations where if you're on the Facebook page that I mentioned, and or if you're on YouTube, it's going to be easy for me to see your comments. If you're on my Facebook profile, all those other places, again, that's why we're asking you to go either to if you like Facebook, fine, go to the Facebook page so that I can see, or go to YouTube, which is, where's that one? Is that it? Yep, there it is, youtube.com/CashFlowDiary. So you can go to facebook.com/CashFlowDiary Live. That'll do it, or YouTube. All right, so let's look at some of the questions that came in. Thank you guys. Every master was once a disaster. Yeah. Let me see. Wow, a lot of you typed that one in there. I like it. So I was wondering if there's any way possible you can email me at Anthony Nicole. No. So I can explain to you more in detail. So nope, you can. That's exactly why we're here. The problem. Okay, so Anthony, it's not that I don't want to. Let's be clear about that. It's just that there's a lot of you and there's one of me. So we have to focus on the one-to-many strategies that are available to us. So I will say this, Anthony. Anthony, let me know if you are still watching right now. If you're still watching right now, type the words "right now" in the chat. What I'll do is I will quickly bring up our call-in line. Then you and I can talk on the phone right now. Everyone will be able to hear both sides of the conversation so that you know. And if you want, you can explain it to me and we can kind of go from there. All right, so do that. You have to, yes, Olivier? How do you, hold on. I think that's Olivier. I'm doing my best, man. That's the other thing. I will do my best with your names. Please don't hold it against me if I get them wrong. All right. Where'd it go? Jay, I'm in Montreal and I have been listening to your podcast since 2015. Sweet. Jesus. Thank you. Love it. I started a rental business over there, Montreal. Okay. Recently. Oh, well, hold on. You said over there. So if you're in Montreal and you mean over there, do you mean that you have a rental business in California or US? Over there recently, and I was wondering if you have trainings that suits the Canadian market. Yeah, that's a great question. And so our short-term rental information, we have a number of people from Canada who participated in it. We actually help people in 16. I should do another check to see how many more, because there's probably more now. But I know that we help people in 16 different countries. The only thing that I ever ask is that you speak English, so that I can ask you the questions that I need to ask you. Because sometimes, like when we were helping people, say in Australia, they have similar concepts, but they use different words. That happens in Canada too, but also in Zurich. Although I did grow up in Germany, I don't remember all the German that I need to remember in order to help you there. So, but yes, yeah, working this system of short-term rentals in internationally is something that we have helped many thousands of people with. So no big deal. What does yes, okay, Cynthia, that's pretty funny. One of the things that we will be going over is that whole morning routine, if you will, because having a routine, especially in what we'll call destabilizing times, is really important, because that's how you're going to rebuild, what is your quote unquote new normal. And that's exactly one of the things. That's why we're saying, that's one of the reasons why I was like, if I do this, it has to be at the same time every day to help build a routine for me and for those that are watching. Where do I get some of your killer t-shirts, Scott? That's pretty funny. Pay attention. That is one of many projects on the website that we currently have, quote unquote, under construction. is being able to get t-shirts and merchandise and stuff like that, because people have asked more than once. Let me see. Sure, Anthony, let's learn together. Hold on. So yeah, I don't know if Anthony, Anthony, I don't know if he's still here. Yeah, oh, that share, that's what you said. Got it. Yeah, so I don't know if Anthony is still here. If he was still here, that's due. So that you guys know, we do have, it's just not turned on today, we do have a call-in line for situations like this where you have something complicated or you feel it's complicated, so that you can explain it, and then we can definitely talk about it. But yeah, if you just understand in general what it'll be, it's easier. Just understand, it's not that we don't want to help. It's just that it's like, yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, I can tell you the number of people who send myself or my team a Facebook request or try to get us on a direct message. There's no way we it's not that we don't want to help. There's a lot of y'all, and we would never get anything done, because there's that many people who keep asking. Everybody's got a quick question, which is great. And what we're asking is, bring it here. Bring it here. So again, make sure you come to the Facebook page. That is the new Facebook page, facebook.com/CashFlowDiary Live, and or the YouTube channel. We're going to make that announcement a few more times in all of the locations, so that people know that, hey, where'd you go? We didn't go anywhere, so to speak. We just kind of moved, if you will. All right. Oh, there he is. 1 second, Anthony. And I didn't know. Let me pull it up. So I'm going to give you a phone number in just a second, so that you can dial in, and then we will, what is that? Call in. And then we'll probably end after your call, sir, so that the rest of y'all can get back to the thing. Host show. And start, and turn that on. So Anthony, I'm gonna put the number on the screen in just 1 second. Okay. I just lost it. So I want to dial and call in here. Okay, and then it is, sorry guys, just give me 1 second.
Welcome. You are now in the
Okay, awesome. So what you'll need to do, Anthony, is go ahead and dial that number, and then it'll put you in the queue, and then we can talk about what you need some assistance with. In the meantime, oh, it's Nicole, not Anthony? Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, yes, so yeah, just waiting on him to, or her or him, whomever, to go ahead and dial in. So then we'll be able to end there. What I was saying though is I want to be able to answer everyone's question, but I know that I can't. However, so that we can answer as many questions as possible, we do have this. We'll also be creating a way for you guys to submit questions, say ahead of time, like if there's something in general that you need help with, especially as it relates to, again, your mental mindset, staying focused, getting to that next step or stage, because you're on that path, right? If that makes any sense whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, maintaining that is going to make all the difference, right? Right now, I'm still here. Yes, I need you to dial the phone number. So once you dial the phone number that's on the screen, it'll show up here on my iPad, and I'll be able to answer so that we can talk. That's really what I'm waiting on. So if you can do that, that would be great. So some of the other things that I wanted to make sure that everybody knows, has available, etc., is as we continue going through this process together, we will make sure to continue to give you the steps that are necessary, not only to build your business, but most importantly, build you. And I just want to make sure that you understand, you and I, we cannot, will not, have not ever out-earned our personal growth. And that's the challenge. We don't have a way to do that. So as you and I continue to grow together, we'll be able to keep making the next steps. Anthony or Nicole, if you see the phone number, is 417-344-2274. I'll wait a few more minutes. I'm not quite sure what might be happening or hanging you up here, so that I can get the I'm not quite sure what's going on, because I see you keep typing right now, and I need you to dial the phone number, because then I can talk to you. Otherwise, we can try again tomorrow, because tomorrow at 8 a.m. we'll be here. And for those of you who are still wanting and want to know more about the short-term rental world, we will still be doing, we're in the middle of our launch sequence right now, giving you a bunch of education. Today, we're going to be talking about specifically landlords and the conversation around landlords that's going to be there. So, meaning how to get a landlord to say yes and working with them, and especially given all of the changes that they're about to go through as well. We're all going through stuff, right? What's it going to take to continue to make that happen? So you can go to cashflowdiary.com/learn live if that's something that is of interest to you. All right. All right. So I'm still not seeing you, Anthony. So I'm going to assume that I mean, there's not a delay that long inside the live streaming world. So because I've seen you've typed it a number of times. So hopefully in the future, Anthony, feel free to come on back, or Nicole, I don't know, because it says Anthony/Nicole. Come on back, because we want to answer your questions. We want to be here for you, for everyone, as much as we possibly can. So, yeah, I'm just making sure before I start turning things off. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, oh, hold on. Look at that. Right as the, this might be the Anthony we were talking or literally waiting for. Hold on.
Anthony Soto?
Anthony?
Okay. Hey, how you doing?
I am good. And yourself?
I'm doing great.
How can I help?
Okay, so my question is, I just got promoted to CEO for my boss's new company. And I got promoted to, you could just say I bullied my way up to the position because I was tired of working. My back and my legs started.
Yeah, most construction people have that.
Yeah. Construction and everything.
Yeah.
So I told him that if I could figure out a way to make him more money, if he'll promote me and let me have part of his company. And he said, well, write out a plan. And well, all I could think of is, well, if we buy businesses, roofing companies, and construction companies that are already existing, that already have a positive cash flow, that would be like one of the easiest ways to make fast money real quick. But I don't know how to go about buying a business. I don't know how to do any of that. Like, I just literally just jumped into it.
Understood. But okay, so let me ask you the most important question. You told him, her, if I could find a way. What did you have in mind when you said that? Or because you had to have something in mind. There was something that you saw that inspired you to be willing to open up your mouth and say, if I can make this happen, would you do X, Y, and Z? What was that?
Well, I seen the workers that he has that weren't working. They're just milking the clock. I see the way he's running the business.
What does that mean? Hold on. Stop. What does that mean? The way he's running the business. What does that mean? Elaborate there.
He's a doctor, and he doesn't have the time to actually focus on the business. And the guys that he has focusing on the business, it's overwhelming for just one person. There's no structure, no control, no guidance. It's just coin toss, pretty much, for a person's thoughts at the work. So I know if I could help them gather their thoughts and guide them on what they have to do, and I know for a fact if I buy into another business that already has good workers, they could train my boss's guys, and I could help out. Like I see it better if I'm able just to like get the right people.
Got it. Now I understand. Why? But let me ask you a question. Why? What is the business currently? What is the primary service that you guys provide to the marketplace?
Roofing. It's construction. It's the name of the business is.
I'm sorry. I heard roofing.
Construction.
I heard. Yeah. I heard roofing and what else?
Roofing and construction.
Like construction. I get construction, but when you say construction, what are you guys absolutely good at? Are you a kitchen? Are you ground up? Are you what are you?
Ground up.
Got it. Okay. Now, when you guys are doing, let's talk about the ground up projects for a second. Are those typically ones that get financed with a third party through a bank or something? Are we talking residential ground up? Are we talking commercial, subdivision?
Residential.
Okay. So are we talking infill lots then?
Oh, that part I do not know.
Okay. So let me ask differently. When you've done, or when the team has done a ground up construction, what does that look like? Was that a building a house that was in an existing neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay. Was the neighborhood like in the process of going through a new phase, or was it just happened to have a vacant lot next to houses that have been there 10, 20 years?
Yeah, vacant lot.
Got it.
It's already, or sometimes the house is already there and he'll take out the house and then build another house.
Got
for
it.
that person.
Excellent. All right. So write this down for me, my friend. It's a very simple formula for being able to, quote unquote, make more money. Now I'm putting it on the screen so everyone else can see what I'm writing as well. The formula is very simple. It's income minus expenses equals net operating income. Okay. So, and then I have some resources that I think you're going to want to take advantage of. Income minus expenses equals net operating income. One of the things that I heard you say is that you wanted to help this person, quote unquote, make more money. Right?
Yeah.
So let me explain where I'm going with this. Sometimes the words we use can be the limiting factor. Instead of saying make more money, I'm not saying you have to go and change your words or what you told them. I'm just going to change it to earn more net
money.
profit. Because there's a top line number, which is what you're thinking about. And when I asked you, what did you see? Because I knew there was a reason you felt confident enough to say those words. There was something you saw. There was an opportunity that you saw that you knew he did not see or did not have the ability to take advantage of, right? You saw it naturally. And what you saw naturally is the key to how they get to earn or keep more net profit, which is what you are ultimately saying to me when you say, hey, these guys aren't working like they should be, this, that, and the other. Here's what I mean. Did you play a sport in high school, college? Huh?
High school, baseball, soccer.
Baseball and soccer. Got it. Which one do you like more, baseball or soccer?
They're both my favorite. Soccer.
Got it. No problem. All right. So I'll do my best to talk about soccer. I kind of wish Robert was here right now because he's better at the whole soccer thing than I am. But
Robert Kawasaki?
What's that?
Robert Kawasaki? Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yeah. That's important too. But right now I want to give you an illustration of what's going through my head so that you can then run with this concept and make more money.
I love that guy.
All right. When you are going through the process, when you are playing a soccer game, the what is it? I think it's called. Hold on. I love Google. Position in soccer. Got it. So when you are one of the forwards, that's it. When you're if you were fielding a team and all you did was play offense with your forwards, would you win a soccer game?
No.
No. Why not?
Because you don't have a team.
Cause somebody's got to play defense, right? Somebody has to.
On defense, yeah.
Somebody better, right? And when you're building or running a business, the same is true. You have to play offense. This is what you were talking about in terms of let's go get more territory and conquer the land and build more stuff and do this product and go with this service. And however, your natural ability, my friend, what you said to me says, I see where he's wasting money. The expenses are going straight out the window because, let me use your words, you said there was no structure, control, and guidance. And I'm like, oh, got it. So it's wonderful if you're filling the top of the bucket with more water, but if it's got a really big hole at the bottom, doesn't really matter. You're not making any ground. What you're saying is, you have the ability, because you already see it. You already see where there is a lack of structure, control, and guidance. So what you need to start measuring is net profit, because that's where your impact is going to begin to be felt. Now, once you've got that under control, then go pour more water in, knock yourself out. But don't do that when you know that you're going to end up wasting just as much resources and expenses out the door because there's no structure, control, and guidance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
That's your unique.
Get a new bucket or fix the bucket.
Yeah, yes, by all means, please do that first. So I would begin to put, these are all the things that you already see. So make a list of what those things are that are out of control, don't have structure or need structure, and where the guidance is missing. Okay, so and before you go fire everybody, let's find out what's missing, and then let's put in a training system, because maybe they just have never been trained that way and they just don't know. That is possible. I'm not saying it's the case, but it's possible. But before we go get rid of everybody, let's find out, do they know? Let's give them a shot at the new structure, because some people, many of us, we need structure. And without it, well, who knows what it will build or do. There's a reason blueprints are necessary, right? You can't just say, I'm going to build a house and then start buying wood randomly. It's not going to work, because you got to have it there. And this is no different. So what I would strongly encourage you to do is exactly that. And then I've got one more suggestion for you, because you, my friend, are making the transition from, say, technician to, I'm going to call you architect / engineer. And what I mean by that is, instead of physically being the one building and constructing the house, you're designing the framework which other individuals now then work within to go build the house. There's a gentleman by the name of Michael Gerber who I interviewed last year, and on my podcast, it's episode, you want to write this down, 543. episode 543. And I would encourage you to go just listen to it. And if after listening to it,
543.
Yep, CashFlow Diary 543. After listening to it, if you feel like, anything that we talked about can assist you, I would encourage you then to begin grabbing his books and understanding, because you are changing what is your fundamental role in how you create value from a technician, for sure. And you need to become more of an architect, directing traffic, if you will, and designing the boundary lines so that people know exactly what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
I just want to mention, if you don't mind, so I have an obstacle.
What's
in
that?
my way, and it's been a very big obstacle.
Okay.
And it's
We all have obstacles.
a very hard barrier. I grew up my whole life without knowing how to read or write.
Okay.
And when I finally grasped somewhat of reading, found out that I have dyslexia.
Makes sense.
And so even now, the only way I learn is literally through experience, hands-on. You have to teach me so I can see it, hear it, feel it, and I'll get it just like that.
Got it. Let me ask you a question.
My boss.
Oh, go ahead.
That's how come my boss was happy to see me when I took the next jump, because when I work, I don't like doing things that other people have done if it's coming out wrong.
Right.
I always want to go for something right, and I want my name to be good. If I'm building something, I want someone to live in a house that they don't have to worry about.
Right. Yeah, totally understood.
But yeah, so those are my obstacles. So everything I have to learn, I do on YouTube.
Got it. So let me ask you a couple of questions, because I got some things to share. And let me ask you a couple of questions so that I know. You mentioned reading or Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad Poor Dad. Was that an audiobook for you, or how did you consume that information?
Yeah, audio.
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, got it. Totally understood. So I too have challenges, my friend. I am autistic and ADHD. So what does that mean? That means I am definitely challenged in the attention space. So keeping my mind on what it needs to be on is a challenge, which makes reading difficult, to say the least. And I tend to take in most information auditory as well. I understand. So what I would encourage, instead of that, then it's good that we produce a podcast that you can listen to. So you can listen to that. Obviously, Michael's books are also on audio as well. Now, I don't know what I do know is that is my preferred method of consuming the information. And while yes, it can be an obstacle, it's also your unique strength. Let me explain. Because we consume information, retain information in a different form, we'll say audio, one of the things that it allows us to do is to be more efficient. For those who cannot do the audiobook thing and retain the information, understand that means they have to use their eyes. When you're using your eyes, you can't do anything else. When you're reading, the only thing you can be doing is reading. You and I, have the ability to, for lack of a better way of putting it, multitask in a way that allows us to consume lots of information in short periods of time, assimilate that information, and practice it. Because like you said, I got to touch it and feel it and try it, which is perfect. Yeah. So I hear you. And yes, in a world that is set up for what I'll call neurotypical individuals, then yeah, to them, it's the way the world is set up, it makes it very difficult. But it would be very difficult for a goldfish to climb a tree because it just wasn't designed to do it that way. That doesn't mean it can't move. It doesn't mean it can't go places. It just doesn't climb trees the same way. So you and I have adapted And that's part of what's the process. But it doesn't mean you cannot be or become the things. There are new skills that you have to learn. I've had to learn them too. Stay tuned. Make sure you keep coming back, because I'll be sharing some of those skills, because that's one of the things that, interestingly enough, many of the skills that it takes when you have attention challenges or the reading challenge, those skills that we use to adapt to quote unquote appear normal are things that most people should be doing anyway. So, yeah. I totally hear you. And don't worry, man, you got this. You got it. Okay?
What I've found out, so what I've learned.
All right, man, last one. Go for it.
A lot of people find, oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Have a good day.
No. Go ahead. I'm listening. What you've learned is what?
Well,
I'm just saying this is the last question. That's all.
Yeah. So I've learned how to find patterns and improve patterns in life.
Right.
So I could see people's patterns.
Right.
And I know how to improve it, or I know
exactly
what's going wrong in the pattern. And that's what I've always focused on that, but my guidance has always been told where to be focused on as a child. So now that I'm grown up, 33 years old, I'm learning how to do it on my own.
Yeah, no, totally understood, man. In fact, there's an entire industry around, I would call that process improvement, and around what you just said. So, I mean, trust me, just look it up. There's a ton of information around process improvement in and of itself, which is basically what we've been talking about. When you see the broken and you're like, dude, you're wasting money right here, fix it, and it would translate to more net profit. And that's a unique skill that you've been given. Now you just have to learn how to harness it, so that you can, as you develop it, you'll be able to present it in such a way that people, you'll be able to do lots of really great things and provide value to the marketplace. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
awesome, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. It's part of the reason that we're doing this for 30 days. That's why we're doing it. So it's to help, and to help people see the opportunities that are in front of them, to give them the mental focus that it's going to take. And then as we build the person, then you can go build the business. But thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you. I wish you guys tons of blessings here, guys.
Thank
everyone
you.
That's listening.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, thank
Bye.
you. All right, bye-bye.
Awesome. All right. So I guess I got to say then for this being our first one, I'm very encouraged of where we're headed. So hopefully, these will help you as well. As I said before, make your way over to the Facebook page because you're not going to want to miss these. There's going to come a time at which they're not in all of the locations, and you're going to want to be there, or make it over to the YouTube channel. For those of you who are still wanting, I want the short-term rental stuff, Jay, no problem. Still doing that. Go to CashFlowDiary.com/learn live, get registered for it. We are in the middle of it, so there will be a bit of a catch up, but that's okay. You got time. You can catch up. Okay. And we'll be helping more people again later today at 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for taking the time to tune in. Hopefully, maybe you've even shared this with a friend. It's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.